What's going on, everyone? So in an absolute shocker, the Denver Nuggets have fired Mike Malone, their head coach, as well as their GM, and made David Edelman their reigning head coach, their interim head coach. Wow. I mean, look, Mike Malone and the GM and the organization, they've had their issues for the last year, really almost 2 years, basically since they won the championship, letting Bruce Brown and some key players go, Jeff Green, things like that, as well as in particular this offseason where they let KCP go. Mike Malone was not happy about that at all. He expressed his frustration on several occasions and, even kind of called out the GM and the organization for, not keeping the guys. Like, it's kind of hard to go back and win again when you keep letting all our key guys go and, and you want me to essentially turn water into wine, right? So it's a problem. And this kind of felt like something that was inevitable. Kind of just felt like, hey, they're headed for a divorce. It's just, when are they finally going to come to that realization? I didn't think it would be a week before the playoffs. I didn't think that they would be doing this right before they're headed to a gauntlet. Right? I mean, this is crazy. Now, look, you always have a chance as long as you have Jokic on your team. Right? Jokic is still going to be a handful. Right? Jokic is still going to win. But Mike Malone is a very good coach. Look, I'm a Laker fan. Most, if not all of you, are aware I'm a Laker fan. Right? I wanted to smack Mike Malone this year because I actually think the Lakers would beat Denver in a 7-game series this year. I just think their coaching's better. Luka, I trust him more. He loves to play Denver. I just think we have more defensive pieces to throw at Jamal Murray and guys like that. Right? I like the matchup. Right? I don't want to turn this into a Laker conversation because it's about Denver. But removing my Laker bias, because Denver has smoked us and Mike Malone has talked his mess and who's your daddy and all this stuff. And he is a great coach. He's one of the better coaches in the league. Right? I don't think he's like Eric Spoelstra great, but I do think he's very good. Right? And now Denver is going in with David Edelman. He's somebody that many people believe should have been a head coach this year. He may end up being a great head coach. Who knows? He might end up being the head coach for the future for Denver. It's a very real possibility. But you're not going to have a full season with him. You're not going to have a full training camp with him. You're not going to have a full... Right? It is so incredible. Memphis did this with Taylor Jenkins. And it was bizarre. You couldn't have... whatever's going on is so bad behind the scenes that you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait till the offseason. You couldn't wait, even if you get eliminated in the first round, right? You couldn't have waited. Instead, you thought it was better to just get off of everything right now, have all this noise, all this commotion, all these headlines, all this conversation, all this distraction, you'd rather have all of this stuff than going into the playoffs, dealing with whatever we got to deal with, and then handle it from an organizational standpoint in the offseason. If they would have fired him and the GM and everybody in the offseason, I don't think anyone would have been surprised. Right? I would have been like, oh, wow. But I don't think anyone would have been surprised. Right? Because again, this was something that felt like they were headed in that direction. That it was almost inevitable that we were going to get that firing at some point. Or Mike Malone was going to resign, whatever. That we were going to see this outcome at some point. But literally, because you get a week off in the playoffs. So basically 2 weeks out, you decide to now fire your coach 2 weeks before the playoffs. And isn't the goal supposed to be to try to win a championship? How are you going to win an NBA championship when your main guy, your head coach, the guy that's supposed to be leading the charge, he's not going to be at the helm. And now you're going to have new regimes. And yeah, maybe David Edelman comes in and just kind of keeps things as is, right? Keeps things intact and everything's fine and it just kind of whatever, right? Very real possibility. That could be the approach and the route that they take. Who knows? Right? Maybe he just kind of just go out there. We'll keep the same style. We'll play the same way. I still have Jokic. I can do wonders with him. right? Jamal Murray should be back for the playoffs, right? You have a chance because you got, Jokic and Jamal Murray and all these other things, right? That's a real possibility. But to think you're going to just go out and just run through the rest of the league and I don't see that. I mean, even the Lakers, my Lakers, there is a very real possibility you're playing them in the first round, or the Warriors, who you're playing in the first round. Two teams that have had their stuff together, right? Two teams that are looking very good. However you feel about the Lakers and all that stuff, whether you think they win or not. No, Denver's going to have to beat those teams now. Right? I don't think that they're running through the Lakers. Even if they beat the Lakers and win the series against the Lakers, I don't think they're sweeping them or beating them in 5 or anything like that. Right? But now you have all the distractions. Now you have all the noise. Now you have all the frustrations. Now you have, all the uncertainties and question marks. And, David Edelman, he doesn't have a full year as, the head coach at the helm. He's got 2 weeks to essentially figure this out. Yes, it helps that he has at least familiarity and has been a part of the organization for years and, kind of knows Mike Malone's playbook and knows how Mike Malone wants to operate and run and do this and do that and do all these things. I get that. But still, at the end of the day, right? Like, you have the distractions, you have the noise, all the media headlines, all the conversations. Everything is now going to be focused on not Denver and their success and the players and Jokic and whatever. It's going to be like, oh, Mike Malone and this and that and the organization. Oh, there's more dysfunction than there was previously, right? Like, it's just all unnecessary distraction right before you're about to enter the playoffs. Again, whatever it was so bad. You had to do this right now. You had to do this a week before the playoffs. There was no chance that you could have waited until you got into the offseason. I mean, lose in the first round and literally that day fire him. Whatever, anything other than right before the playoffs. You're about to go into a gauntlet with all these teams, and you decide to fire your head coach right before you enter that gauntlet. It is just so wild to me. Like, I'm like genuinely shocked. And nothing really shocks me in sports, right? Because you think crazy things happen all the time. Lakers traded for Luka, right? But again, Mike Malone is a good coach. It's just so bizarre that they did this right before the postseason, right before the playoffs. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Hey, Phil, what are your thoughts? Is this shocking to you? Is this surprising to you? You think, no, you saw this coming. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So I enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.